I'm King-Sonnen, and this is my wife, Renee King-Sonnen. And we used to have a ranch here called the Sonnen Ranch. Now it's known as the Rowdy Girl Sanctuary. These cows are herd animals, and it's hard to get them apart. But of course, each one of them has their personal friends. Everybody's got their little clique. They're a lot like people's relationships. This is Houdini. This is Rowdy Girl's daughter. She's really the reason of the sanctuary because she got out 50 or 60 times prior to us becoming a sanctuary. That's how she got her name. I was calling her Whiteface, and all my rancher friends started calling me and saying, hey, the cops are out there with that Houdini cow. I went out and got Houdini in, and she goes, I'm gonna have to find you today. And I said, don't find me. My wife went vegan and won't let me sell the cows. And she goes, oh my God, you're kidding. And so I gave her my wife's card and said, find her. And this was before we went sanctuary. And
he always wants to tell this story.
She kind of tricked me. You know, we were arguing about me selling the cows out there. She was saying, why don't we just make this into a sanctuary? And I was saying, they only do that in California and New York. It'll never work in Texas. She was calling me a murderer, and she said, if you haul these cows off, I'm gonna follow them to the cell barn, I'm gonna go to jail, I'm gonna make you the most embarrassed person in this county. I think she said she'd buy them back with my credit cards or whatever. And you know, knowing Renee, she would do something like that. So, you know, I was like, and she goes, well, if you're gonna sell them, why don't you sell them to me? And I laughed. I mean, I was pissed and I laughed. 2 weeks later, she had already raised some money and I couldn't go back on my word. So I kind of like, you know, I had to honor my word, and then I kind of grew into it. The other day I told somebody, you know, veganism was forced down my throat. And then I started looking at, you know, Forks Over Knives and Kip Anderson's Cowspiracy, seeing all the statistics. And I put 2 and 2 together, and, you know, hey, we're either gonna turn this thing around and save the earth or continue on and destroy the earth. So yeah, I went vegan.
You did? So we're both vegan.
Took a while.
He loves his scratches. Look at that. Oh boy.
Curly, what are you doing? In January of 2015, she's vegan, and I'm like, what am I gonna do? She's telling me, don't bring any animal products into my house. And I'm saying, it's my house too. And she's going, get rid of those fish in the freezer and stuff like that. And so it took about a month and a half before I thought, you know, it's not gonna hurt me, and it'll help me, and I need to lose weight anyway. So I wasn't real happy about it, but I said, I'm gonna start eating like you're eating, but I'm gonna tell you if I like it or not. And everything sucked. And it really did. And but you know, I started cooking for myself, lots of jalapenos, onions, and potatoes. You know, I started liking it, and then we found some alternative meat products. It was May 2nd, 2015. She had an event. We had sponsors, Follow Your Heart and So Delicious. They brought some ice cream in I really liked, and the cheese was great. And so I said, well, I've gone this far, I may as well go ahead and go all the way. I'm calling May 2nd, 2015 my vegan birthday.
You know, they were in Texas, so the tours we have, the visitors we have, probably 90% of them are omnivores. This relationship, this dynamic of them hugging the very animals that they eat changes them.
She's probably over 20 years old. There's some of them that want attention, and there's some of them that just like to be close but don't mess with me. And then there's a couple of them that don't want you even close. And this is Texas, so everybody knows you got the right to do whatever you want here, so they're okay with it.
And we're inspiring other ranchers to take notice. You know, I'm talking to 8th generation cattle ranchers. I'm talking to a cattle ranch in the UK right now that's talking about turning their entire ranch around to become a vegan farm sanctuary.
On the environmental side, I mean, we're cutting down our forest all over the world just to grow more cows, to feed more people. The oceans are becoming a cesspool, and it's got to stop. You can keep your head stuck in the sand and keep doing what you're doing, or you can look where the world's going and do the right thing.